2004, Skagway, Alaska. In a town surrounded by silence where the mountains press close and winters are endless, something began stirring in an old building no one really talked about anymore. It had stood at the edge of town for over a century, its red tin roof rusting, its windows blackened by time. The sign out front had long faded, but everyone still called it the Red House. It started slowly. The family who had just moved in, Tom, Maria, and their 11-year-old son Caleb, thought the drafty floors and strange creaks were just quirks of an old house. But by the third night, Caleb told his parents that someone kept whispering in his room. Not to him, about him. Maria laughed it off. "New place jitters," she said. Then came the scratching, inside the walls, beneath the floorboards. A pattern, always the same. 3 quick scrapes, then silence. Tom, a former Coast Guard officer and a man of logic, searched for raccoons, rats, anything. But the attic was empty. The basement was colder than it should have been, but otherwise untouched, until they opened the locked room. Behind a panel in the back of the hallway closet, Tom found a small wooden door, nailed shut from the outside. The moment he pried it open, the house seemed to sigh. Inside, the walls were lined with symbols, burnt marks, animal bones, strings of hair, and in the center of the room, a child's shoe, still dusty, but perfectly preserved. That night, Caleb screamed in his sleep. When they rushed in, his fingernails were torn and bloody. He had been clawing at the wall. Local authorities had no explanation. They called in a priest. He didn't last 10 minutes in the house before collapsing on the porch, whispering, "It's still here." Only then did the history come out. The Red House was once a home for abandoned children in the early 1900s, when Skagway was a booming gold rush town. Run by a man named Elijah Moore, the facility promised shelter, but records show dozens of children went missing. Locals whispered that Elijah believed the surrounding mountains held ancient voices, and that the children were being offered to appease them. When the town finally shut the place down in 1913, Elijah vanished into the hills. Only his journal was found, filled with desperate notes. One line, repeated again and again: "They want the children back." The room behind the panel, it was never on the original blueprints, and as the family fled the Red House, leaving their belongings behind, one neighbor claimed he saw a small figure watching from the upstairs window, pale, barefoot, still waiting. In Skagway, people don't ask what happened at the Red House anymore. They just lower their voices when they pass it. Because some homes weren't built to protect, they were built to contain.